Hey Nathan, it's John. I wasn't exactly sure as I read your email what you were looking for. I figure you're probably underneath a rock right now trying to prep plus take care of a newborn. But here's an answer, I guess. My assumption is that you don't want to see the Visual Basic Palantir interface stuff because I figure that's pretty obvious that that's the answer that we should be working with a data ingestion piece. But what you were more interested in is how we'll ingest the data that exists. Now, if that's not correct, please let me know right away because I can give you visualizations of the other. Hey, what I'm showing you right now is a picture of what I asked some cadets to do. They've been tracking what this total project involves. And as you can see, the total project involves everything we've talked about in different components. What I'm asked them to do was really analyze into the slides themselves. So the slide packs that we were told that we could ask no more than what was in this data from the folks out there, and we were to create no new requirements. So dug into these, and so they took something like this, which was the S&T slides, which, as we know, has these little arrows, which is, I think, what you were getting at with the relationships, and I'm going to talk about and go pretty quick, I hope. We also took apart the PEO type slides. By the way, it looks like I'm going to be at Aberdeen on Wednesday all day long working on this. So I'm going to get the PEO data from both ammo and soldiers. So hopefully that moves things along. And then these slides as well that you like, and of course these are the ones that are really easy for me to ingest off a slide because they become they're easy to OCR. These slides are OCRable. I could pull them up, but the problem is I would need some programmers a little bit better than what I have that can pick out these dates right here and know that that line lines up with this line, which equates to 2017. It's a little more programming, but it's not beyond what my guys can do. It's just tough and time consuming. So the cadets came back to us with this list right here, which is pretty neat. It says that we found all this information, but we didn't see any of this information. And this slide actually was briefed to General Williamson, which I thought was interesting, given Ms. Shu's talk the other day. Probably the more important piece about this to our talk today that Ms. Miller is interested in is when we did the analysis of all those arrows, the ones that move from object to object. And I apologize for going kind of simple on this, but sometimes it helps. That those arrows, it wasn't clear what they meant. And so the cadets generated this list, required for and support of, in order to, it incorporates from, utilizes technology, a one-for-one. All these are a list of everything they thought was possible that arrow meant, and as novices, they just didn't know. If there's one item that would be an improvement on those slides, would be to know what each arrow meant, some sort of a qualifier on it. Now I'm going to jump forward through these cadet slides because you really don't need to go through all of the rest that they told me to move to this piece, data ingestion, that you've asked me about. So when I had them dive into data ingestion and talk to me about how we might or could do it and what our options were, it came up pretty simple. Number one is, as you know, we can go deep into, take a slide, set a slide pack. That slide pack is in essence on this line right here as ballistic and blast protection. Obviously we would need the slide pack for each and every one of these, and that's where they nest. So from a relationship standpoint, I know it fits here, and then this provides me the relationship information for duration. It also provides me the relationship information by these lines, which again I don't know exactly what they mean every time, but these lines indicate there's a relationship to something else. And that's nested under an Army's challenge, under ease overburden, which is further nested under desired capabilities. So each of those is a nesting. That nesting is a relationship, and those relationships I can actually use to further indicate that this has a relationship to something else in the portfolio. So it's an inference. an inference that the slide meant, and it was purposely nested in this place for a reason. The next thing is there's a lot of these slides. You know there's a lot of these slides. This slide pack up here is the one that you wanted me to do with the ingestion software, and it worked very nicely, and still works very nicely. The one on the bottom is the one that we tried. We get good information on it, but the data quality drops severely when we start ingesting this slide. And again, that's because of the placement of these lines has significant information on it that the computer doesn't, or the software doesn't rapidly identify in the way we wrote the script now. That is something we could fix, but that would take a lot more time with my type of programmers than it would with some of the ones at ARL or maybe at Carnegie Mellon. But what Miss Miller seemed to be interested in was this. So all we're doing, and it's pretty straightforward. It's not much different than what you're doing with SharpCloud. I take the S&T activity, I take all the information about the dates, I take the program record, and all those have an ontology underneath them. And from there, I cross those against the PEO data. So I'm looking for places where the ontologies match. If the ontologies match, that creates a relationship. If there's a relationship, then that's where I get into my metrics. Remember, my metrics are about the stability of the portfolio structure. So those are almost entirely relationship based. There would be helpful if I had some money associated with it, because I could talk further about where we're weak or strong within that structure. So think of the length of or the strength of a beam, but otherwise not there. What I've not been able to do is still haven't seen any sustainment data. So I know General Phillips wants the sustainment built in there. I have not seen some sustainment data, so I understand what it is I'm trying to relate to. That'd be pretty helpful. So not sure if this helps you. If it does, let me know. If it doesn't, let me know. Now we have a place to start from in our conversation.